Rake is a first-person horror game where you're trapped in a forest ripped straight out of the Slender Man games as you try to hunt down a creature called the Rake, which originates from a creepypasta article of the same name. Creepypasta, for those who don't know, are short fictional stories where someone takes a generally frightening concept and totally ruins it, with over-the-top dialogue and contrived situations to the point that it actually becomes laughable. Look up an article called The Expressionless and you'll see what I mean. In this instance, the Rake is a small, bizarre-looking creature described as a hairless dog that looks like it's been hit by a car. It's emaciated, moves quickly, and likes to watch people as they sleep. It also likes candlelit dinners and long walks along the beach, as well as hunting people down in forests at night time. Okay, all jokes aside, there is something universally frightening about a creature that hides out in a forest at night time, and fair enough, Rake tries to cash in on that, with mixed results. Developed by Consorto, it's now available on Steam for people who just can't get enough jump scares with the abundance of first-person horror games already on the market. There's really not much to say about the game in its current state. It doesn't advertise as early access on the Steam page, though it sure as hell feels like it, as it's a game with some very basic mechanics. You're a guy named Gordon Davis, a scientist, a traveller, and an explorer, camping out in the forest searching for the Rake with the goal of the game being to kill it, because, you know, screw science. During the day, you're supposed to explore the area and set up to 5 digital cameras on tree trunks that you can then monitor from your caravan. Aside from the cameras, you can use animal feed to, I guess, lure the Rake to certain areas and also place down bear traps which can damage the creature as well. Though I've never been able to do either of these successfully. You can also find a sniper rifle and extra supplies which are supposed to help you over the course of the game as you try to hunt down the Rake. The map isn't randomly generated, so all of these items are going to be in the same place every single time. Rake is a bit of a night owl, so you won't see him much during the daytime, though he does pop up occasionally in certain scripted areas. At night time is when he comes out to play. He's a little bit camera shy, so he has a tendency to destroy the cameras you've placed out in the forest. Now this is a neat concept, and I guess the idea is that it's supposed to give you an indication to his whereabouts. But when he takes out a camera, the game doesn't tell you where that camera actually was, so it's not really any benefit at all. You can strap a camera to a wild pig, which gives you a sort of roaming camera to work with, but every time I did this, the pig just walked around right outside my caravan. When there's motion on any one of your cameras, the icon for the respective camera turns red, often just in time for you to switch to that camera and see Rakey old boy smashing it to pieces. What an arsehole. When you leave the relative safety of your caravan on foot to try and hunt him down with either your hunting or sniper rifle, you'll find he most often is able to sneak up on you with ease due to the fact that you're surrounded 360 degrees by trees and bush. The game locks out your movement and aiming controls to load a preset animation of him kinda leaping at you and whacking you across the face, making it impossible to fire back during these moments. The only indication you've got is the directional sound of his footsteps, so if you're going to give this game a try, I'd suggest a good pair of headphones, so you can at least hear him coming. What it really boils down to is hoping that you can see him before he sees you, at which point you can just fire at him, sending him running away. If you can see the direction he runs in, it's easy enough to just wait nearby for his AI to reset, where he walks right on back to where he last saw you, allowing you to shoot him again. All the trap laying, the camera placing and all that crap is ultimately useless, and just tracking him down on foot was much more effective, at least for me anyway. Once you realise how basic his AI is, it's really easy to finish him off and all the tension just goes out the window. And what do you get if you manage to pull it all off? Well, you get thrown right back to the main menu without so much as a pat on the back. While I'm on a roll here, just let me say that Rake doesn't look good, like, at all. I mean, I don't know why indie developers use the Unity engine so much, considering it doesn't look all that great, and it performs horribly. I had the game running on the second lowest visual setting, of which there are 4 I think, and it still chugged along in single digits at times. It's just unacceptable. It also uses a lot of stock assets and sound effects, so it isn't the best looking or sounding game by any stretch. Rake at its core though is a pretty solid idea. It takes that formula of a singular entity that is able to kill you, and flips the construct by forcing you to actually hunt it down as opposed to avoiding it. They are adding in a multiplayer feature soon enough, which should make things interesting, but as it stands, it feels like a shoddy early access game and is really bare bones on content and mechanics. After spending about an hour or so coming to grips with everything, it barely took me another 45 minutes to successfully kill the Rake. I've read some amusing gameplay stories on Steam, and people have even said that if you're inside your caravan, it can kinda jump on top and rock the thing back and forth, which sounds awesome, though that's something I've never had happen. The game is $5, which is its one saving grace, but that's still a little bit high considering its length. More so because there's very little reason to replay the whole thing, as the map and layout is always going to be the same. This is really one of those games, again pandering to YouTubers who make livings out of screaming on a webcam, and the game might gain a bit of notoriety because of that. I won't lie, there is a bit of fun to be had here. It's one of those games you might play with your friend one evening before you both go out to the pub or do something actually worthwhile. But ultimately, I just can't recommend this unless they add some much more needed content and figure out a way to add some amount of replayability.